Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jivjay Kumar, Professor, Department of Agriculture Engineering, Sri Shanmuga College of Engineering and Technology. So today we have EMC, that is equilibrium moisture content. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the moisture content and its measurement. So the moisture content is by the water amount of water present in the grains. So we have to measure that was discussed in the last previous lecture by direct method and indirect method. Now we are going to discuss about the equilibrium moisture content. So equilibrium moisture content is the moisture content which is equivalent to the atmosphere moisture content. So that is what moisture equilibrium moisture content. So we have to find out determine the EMC for the purpose of storage and shelf life increasement of the any food materials. So equilibrium moisture content, when the moisture content of solid in equilibrium with the surrounding conditions is known as equilibrium moisture content. EMC is useful to determine whether product will gain or lose moisture under temperature and RH for drying and storage purpose. A plot of the equilibrium relative humidity and moisture content of a particular material at a particular temperature is known as equilibrium moisture curve or isotherm or generally S-shaped. This curve is graphically represented and it shows as isotherm, so equal thermal curve, and it is in the shape of S, so it is called S-shaped curve, and also we can normally called as equilibrium moisture curve. So we can find out the EMC by two way. One is by static method and another one is by dynamic method. The grain is allowed to come to equilibrium with the surrounding still air without any agitation. That is what a static. Then the air is generally mechanically moved. Then dynamic method. The static means at rest. Dynamic means in motion. Then there are three different waters will be occur in the moisture as moisture. One is called bound moisture, unbound moisture, and free water. So bound moisture means refers to the moisture contained by a substance which exerts equilibrium vapor pressure less than that of the pure liquid at the same temperature. The found bound moisture may be contained inside the cell walls of the grain and moisture held in capillary within the grains. So coming to the unbound moisture refers to the moisture contained by substance which exerts equilibrium vapor pressure equal to that of the pure liquid at the same temperature. For free moisture means refers to the moisture contained by the solid in excess of the equilibrium moisture content. Only free moisture can be evaporated, and the free moisture content of a solid depends upon the vapor concentration in the air. So this isotherm curve is developed by Henderson. That is what the Henderson isotherm model is given. This is the graphical representation. The model is developed by relative vapor pressure in x-axis and the moisture content in y-axis. So relationship between the equilibrium relative humidity RH and the equilibrium moisture content ME. So in this the trend is followed by two way. One is by the moisture, when the vapor pressure is increases, the moisture content increases. That was the moisture is absorbed, so the absorption curve is follow the up thrust force, and the downward movement curve is called desorption, the removal of moisture content when the relative vapor pressure decreases. So this curve shapes provides S shaped, so this is called S shaped curve. So from this the 1 minus RH is equal to E minus C power T ME power N. The trend is calculated. Then where the T is absolute temperature, C and N is the crop constant, then ME is equilibrium moisture content, and RH is the relative humidity. Thank you.